Well, it's not a surprise how the mainstream media and Trump, they're losing ratings a lot. I mean, even the liberal influencers called David Pacman admitted. Watch this.
And are collapsing. There's really no other word. It is a total and absolute free fall. Since the election, MSNBC's primetime audience has been cut in half, down 53%. CNN, almost as bad, 47% drop. These networks aren't just losing to Fox News, and they are losing to Fox News. They're losing to the Food Network. On some nights, more people in the key demographics are watching Chopped than are watching Anderson Cooper on CNN or Jen Psaki on MSNBC. Chopped is a good show, I will admit. Meanwhile, Fox News has barely dipped, holding on to nearly all of its viewers. So we have to talk about what's going on here because, as many of you already know, media coverage of issues we care about guides and dictates to a great degree the direction that the national conversation goes. So for MSNBC and CNN, the answer is very clear. Their left-leaning audiences, to a great degree, have checked out. Trump's win was a gut punch. And for many people, the reaction has been, I'm just going to stop following politics altogether, at least for now. It's not that they're suddenly happy with the direction of the country and they go, I don't need to pay attention, things are going so well. It's that people are burnt out, people are disillusioned, people are despondent. And honestly, corporate media didn't do that much to stop that being the outcome. Look at MSNBC. They spent months criticizing Trump. Yes, they sort of supported Biden and Harris. But when push came to shove, their coverage really lacked urgency. It was just kind of like generic center left kind of horse race stuff. And then right after the election, we talked about it. Morning Joe hosts Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski have this cozy little meeting with Trump down in Mar-a-Lago, and it's just downhill. And this is after years of calling him a fascist and so on and so forth. They kind of do the both sides stunt. We want to make sure that we're talking with everybody and we want clarity and we want to have open lines of communication. They should be reporting on what Trump plans to do, doing it objectively, the authoritarian tirades that Trump plans to bring. And I just don't know how going and hanging out with Trump is really going to make that happen. Then we have CNN. Same story, kind of different flavor. For years, they have tried to thread the needle, presenting themselves as neutral, but airing these ridiculous segments like undecided voter panels that we later find out are filled with obvious committed Trump supporters. And now they're kind of paying for it, to be honest. A lot of the CNN audience doesn't trust them, and it shows, and their ratings are in the toilet. Now, I think it's important to mention that we at the David Pacman Show and many others in left-wing independent media, in the 3 to 4 days after the election, we also saw a sort of exodus that took place. That has now slowed down, and it's not like these are the record months for us post-election November and December, but it's really very much stabilized. And we're going to come back to that in a moment. Now, let me briefly talk about what's happening at Fox News. The numbers at Fox News haven't dropped because, number one, their viewers never take a break. For them, politics is a 24/7 culture war. I'm not saying that like it's a good thing. In many ways, it's a bad thing. But the point is that for them, Trump's win isn't the end of the fight. It's the start of the next one, of what can they now get accomplished over the next 4 years. Fox knows this. They're keeping
The deep truth of David Pacman that he's a liar. He led them to lie, but Trump will not win.
You deserve to lose more than 5,000 subscribers. You led people in the wrong direction for years, and the proof is in the pudding, loss after loss. Until I hear accountability and contrition and a change of tactic, I don't want to hear anything else from you. You failed, and now we have Trump again. Well, a couple different things. Let's take it piece by piece. Even though we lost like 15,000 subscribers, we also gained 13,000. So it's like minus 2,000 out of 2.6 million. It's not terrible. I think we're doing okay. Secondly, I led people to loss after loss. Trump barely won in 2016, and then Republicans lost everything since. They underperformed 2018. Trump lost 2020. The red wave turned into a slight blue increase. They lost off-year elections. They underperformed midterm elections. They lost everything. Yes, Democrats now got crushed. The idea that I, even as a minor character, have presided over loss after loss, it's
Shut up.
just
All the liberal influencers, David Pacman, Brian Taylor Cohen, all of them, they're having a meltdown after the election results. How Trump swept all the battleground states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. Swept all of them. It wasn't even close. Trump won the popular vote easily. And my prediction was correct. 312 electoral votes to Kamala Harris, 226. My prediction was correct. And another person that I must mention, is this guy. Ugh, I hate this channel. Just look. Republicans. Trump betrays his own voters in stunning reversal. What? Look, that's a lie. I hate this channel. Just look. 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 He's so stupid. Well, let's watch this video from the phone.
I'm going to London at April.
Do you mean I'm going to London in April?
I'm going to London in April.
Yes.
Partner in democracy. Okay, so this is not the video that I wanted to be making today. I know a lot of you right now are scared and despairing and confused and exhausted. That's okay, you're right to feel that way. I know pretty much all of us were shocked by the results. We're obviously going to spend the next few days and weeks and months, I'm sure, autopsying what happened, and there's going to be the usual finger pointing from people who are going to say that they knew better. But to be honest, I think that the Harris campaign did run the best campaign they could have possibly run, given the circumstances. I also think that, more broadly, there are a lot of massive structural disadvantages that Democrats are contending with right now that, in retrospect, made winning this election very difficult. First and foremost, something that I've been beating the drum about for years now, the right has a propaganda machine at its disposal that hums on for 24 hours a day on TV and radio and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and Rumble and Discord servers everywhere that pump out right-wing propaganda on an endless loop. The top 20 podcasts in America include Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Theo Von, Dan Bongino, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, and Ben Shapiro. You know who we've got on the left on that list? The Daily and Pod Save America. All the while, Democrats continue, for some fucking reason unbeknownst to me, to pretend that mainstream media is some partner in democracy, that they're on our team. I don't know how much clearer I can say this. They are not on our team. Corporate media exists to serve its shareholders. It is a business before it's anything else, certainly before it's some protector of democracy. And yet still, our side has decided that when there's a big interview, go to mainstream media. When there's news, give it to mainstream media. Let's keep validating the same outlets that continuously undermine us at every single turn. Sometimes I have to beg politicians for interviews for my channel for months and months and months and months and still don't even hear back. And yet they'll fall over themselves to go talk to the New York Times, the same outlet that ran, 60 cover stories about Hillary's emails? That's who they need to confer more validation onto? That's who they need to reward with their time, with eyeballs? We desperately need a left-wing media ecosystem that rivals what they have on the right, and we desperately need our politicians and thought leaders to embrace that idea. The fact that they don't means that we will continue to lose people other than the same in a period of global high inflation that came about after COVID. And while some of us, are privileged enough to be able to majority going to make changes, I'll probably figure out what changes I can make so that I can be most useful. We need to bring younger guys into the fold on the left. I've joined Twitch this week to do.
But I'm not going to stand for
brother, you got it wrong.
Say
you were
whatever you
preposterously and stupidly wrong. So, okay, all right. Can I just finish a goddamn thought ever on this show?
No, not if you're personally. I admitted I was wrong.
We're just one right now. Hey, Alan, you deserve a tall glass of shut-up juice, so can you just shut up for a second and let someone who knows what they're doing
You're
talk?
so right,
Okay?
You're
so right.
So-
We're so
Make any
unified right now.
point you want.
So-
I will not sit here and stand for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do that. You don't boost your
Blasphemy
own ego
against you?
by
Who the hell are
attacking
you?
me
Are you
like that.
Jesus
Just
Christ,
make your
you
points.
loser?
Oh my God.
He's been called the Nostradamus of elections. He's correctly predicted 9 of the last 10. That is until the early hours of Wednesday morning, when CNN predicted Donald Trump would win the presidency. I'm talking about Professor Alan Lichtman. He says his 13 keys are how he makes his predictions for the White House. Here's the moment he realized his prediction was wrong.
I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Yeah.
She needs to make up 170,000 votes.
I don't see it. The big Democratic counties are mostly in.
No, they're yeah. Shit.
I just don't see it. Good thing I have nothing to do tomorrow.
Yeah, I took off work tomorrow.
And I'm not doing any interviews.
Good.
I'm done with that.
So what happens to the keys now? Well, Professor Alan Lichtman is here.
In the qualifiers for the Senior Olympics. But there's another kind of race Alan's just as qualified for.
Alan Lichtman.
Alan Lichtman.
Professor Alan Lichtman, who has correctly predicted almost every presidential election since 1984.
And today, Alan Lichtman's ready to tell us who's going to win in 2024. You see, you may think Alan's just a jock.
Well, I was a steeplechase champion.
A different.
Keys that I developed.
And in 2020, Alan got it right again.
Trump would lose the White House.
The race was tight, but the keys were right.
So let's get to how these keys actually work.
They are 13 big.
But Alan, 2024 is an unprecedented election year. Can your 13 keys really call it right?
The keys absolutely will work. They are the constant northern star of political prediction.
All right, time to run these keys and find out who will be the next president of the United States, according to Alan.
But first, let me change into something a did better than expected in 2020.
Number 9. The White House is untainted.
Standard, so this key is false.
Number 11. The challenger is uncharismatic.
Some people think Donald Trump is a god, but he only appeals to a narrow base, so that key is true.
But wait, that means...
The Democrats will hold on to the White House, and Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States.
But wait a sec, Alan. We still have 2 keys left. The foreign policy keys?
You're right. Foreign policy is tricky, and these keys could flip. The Biden administration is deeply invested in the war in Gaza, which is a humanitarian disaster with no end in sight. But even if both foreign policy keys flipped false, that would mean that there were only 5 negative keys, which would not be enough for Donald Trump to regain the White House.
It is now official. CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris and making a political comeback unlike any in modern American politics. Now, we can make this projection now because CNN projects that Donald Trump has won Wisconsin. You can see right there, currently ahead by 30,000 votes with 99% of the vote in. Mr. Trump is only the second former president in U.S. history to be reelected to the White House. He will return to